72 models, Keith, 1771s, and a dozen 1970 models, and they're off.
Now let's watch the shuffle as they head for the first turn.
Mark Donahue looking for a hole back there in the fifth row.
A.J. Foyt in car number 21, moving at the top, comes down. He's got the lead off turn one. Isaac is second. Allison grabs third. Now they stretch it out on the back straight, and they have really reached racing speed now as Isaac in the red 71 Dodge comes up alongside of A.J. Foyt. And the charge has started by Richard Petty and Buddy Baker. And we will put an isolated camera on Richard Petty and track him for a while, and in a few minutes when the lead is settled, we'll show you the drive that Richard Petty is putting on right now. In the meantime, the joust for the lead between Isaac, Foyt, and Allison.
You know, there's no betting on auto races except who leads the first lap, and Foyt led that one, and we'll bet some money changed hands down here in southern stock car country.
Well, there's a lot of pockets around. There's about 100,000 people here to watch the Daytona 500. The temperature in the 50s, the sky clear, but it is quite cool.
Now the Chevrolet is in second behind AJ. We've got a Mercury, a Chevrolet, a Dodge, and a Chevrolet in the top four positions, and Cuckoo Marlin back there in fourth. A politician from Tennessee and driving like it is an election year.
I think of all the people, though, that you could say were hungry for this race and probably has the equipment to make his stand is AJ. He has won here at Daytona before. He won the Firecracker 400 successively in 1964 and 65. But he has never been able to win this event. And this is one of the events that AJ considers a crown jewel in automobile racing.
Really dueling there with Bobby Allison. Meanwhile, Petty and Baker are coming through the field at an unprecedented rate. They're going to be up with the leaders before too long.
A.J. Foyt, Bobby Allison, and Bobby Isaac in that order. The record for 500 miles here at Daytona, set by Leroy Yarborough in 1969 at 157.950 miles an hour. Richard Petty holds 11 speed marks, laps 100 through 198. But Leroy Yarborough holds the 500-mile speed record. Now, we told you we'd lock a camera on Richard Petty to give you an idea of the kind of a drive he is giving his Plymouth. Okay, let's now show you, starting early in the race, at the start of it, what Richard Petty has been able to do. Here's the start. Top center. Watch that red and blue car as we track him around.
Right behind him, Keith, is Buddy Baker hanging right on his back bumper. Remember now, Petty is the boss and Baker is the contract driver. There he goes high on the track, up in the loose stuff. See the dust the car's churning up, the marbles, and he's pulling away now from Baker as he passes cars on the high side. You have to have a car that really handles to use that top groove, and you also have to have something in your heart to want to go up there too. Now down the backstretch, he's really threading his way through. He's being squeezed against the wall here by this fellow. See him grazing it just ever so slightly.
I was going to say, you've got to have spirit to stand on it that hard in that kind of traffic. Car number 43 is Richard Petty. He started back in row 16, and now he is in fourth spot. The leader is A.J. Foyt, car number 21. Bobby Allison jousting with him in car number 12. Bobby Isaac is running third. Richard Petty is now fourth, and Buddy Baker up in there challenging for fifth.
Allison's the leader right now, Keith, but the first three are starting to pull away a little bit, and we wonder if Petty, without the benefit of a draft, is going to be able to move up on this leading trio. He is fourth, but he is not a close fourth.
A.J. Foyt slipping back into the lead. They've been swapping the lead between these three cars since the beginning. A.J. Foyt, Bobby Allison, and Bobby Isaac. Bobby Isaac now leaving the swapping up front to Allison and Foyt, and content for the time being to run in third spot. Here comes Bobby, using the draft, goes back in front.
The owners of these cars are both former drivers. Allison's owner, Junior Johnson, a former winner of the 500, and Foyt's owner, Glenn Wood, an ex-driver.
As a matter of fact, Glenn Wood was very prominent back in the days when they used to run down on the hard sand of the beach. So your leader is Bobby Allison. A.J. Foyt is second. Bobby Isaac is third. Richard Petty fourth. We'll be back more of the Daytona 500 in a moment. We continue our coverage of the Daytona 500. The leader is A.J. Foyt, car number 21. Bobby Allison, car number 12, running right behind him. Change, however, behind them. Richard Petty is now running in third place. Buddy Baker is fourth, and Bobby Isaac, the pole sitter, right here, car number 71, has dropped back to fifth and is slowing down, dropping way off the pace.
Tough break for the fastest qualifier. Daytona has been a difficult track for Isaac. Here's Petty and Baker coming high on the track, and we can see now how close they are to leaders A.J. Foyt and second place Bobby Allison.
Of course, when you run this hard this early in the race, it can be a problem, and we'll put a clock on the leader, A.J. Foyt. Give you an idea just how fast he's making it around this 2.5-mile high-bank oval speedway.
The engines being used today are interesting, Keith. Foyt's Purelator Mercury has a Ford Boss 429 engine. The second place Coca-Cola Chevrolet, driven by Bobby Allison, has a 427 Porcupine engine, while the STP cars of Petty and Baker are using 426 Chrysler Wedge engines. So a great variety of power plants are in use here, and all of them are running very fast and very well.
And as you can see, AJ kind of out there all by himself right now as he continues to really streak in the Woods Brothers Mercury. Coming up toward the start-finish line, and the clock will stop as he crosses it at 49.3 seconds. That'll figure out to just a fraction under 183 miles an hour, and Bobby Isaac's in the pits.
Now, when the hood is up, Keith, that means trouble. It's a tough break, as we said, for Isaac.
So, tough day for Bobby Isaac, and Richard Petty and Buddy Baker have now passed Bobby Allison to take over second and third, and they'll set out to pursue A.J. Foyt, the leader.
Tremendous pace is being set by Foyt, but Petty and Baker, by hooking up together in a draft, can make their cars go faster as a pair than they can by themselves, and that's why they're catching Foyt, who is out alone with no one to draft up front.
We have four fellas out of the race. Ramo Stott, Bill Champion, Cecil Gordon, and Raymond Williams have dropped out of it. So we've got 36 running right now, and the leader is A.J. And we've got trouble on turn number 4. Car number 30 is upside down. That's Walter Ballard's car. Buddy Baker also involved.
Ballard's car coming to rest right side up. We hope he's okay. Walter Ballard from Texas, the rookie last year, and he looks as though he's climbing out. Buddy Baker was involved in that one too, Pete.
Only 2 cars, everybody else still going. 2 cars involved. Ballard running there, going across pit road. There is no fire, but Walter wanted to get away from it in case there was. Buddy Baker is also out of his car and apparently all right, but both machines obviously are out of the race. There's Buddy's number 11, and he's got to be angry because he felt he had a car that could run with anybody.
There he is behind it, Keith. He looks okay, but of course very disappointed. Tough break for a contender to be knocked out of this 500 so early. Here's Ballard. He's from Houston. That's A.J. Foyt's hometown, and his wife is his car owner.
Obviously, the yellow flag is out. Let's take another look at what happened.
Here's Ballard, pins Baker against the wall, and then he goes over Baker's car, does a slow rollover, and comes down on the windshield and radiator of the car and slides down the track, rotating slowly about 200 to 250 yards as Baker's car goes into the grass and hits the fence. Now, as Ballard's car comes off the smooth pavement on the grass, it hooks the grass and does 2 side-over-side rolls as it throws parts off the car. There goes the windshield. Remember now, the drivers are encased in a roll cage and strapped in to protect themselves from injury. And here's Baker with that disappointed look on his face.
Wow. You know, it's incredible, though, looking at Walter Ballard's car, that a man could walk away from it. We'll be back and try to talk to the 2 men involved after this. Hey, Walter?
Yes.
You all right?
Yeah, fine.
Oh, must have been a pretty exciting moment, though.
Yeah, I guess that's probably the worst ride I've ever taken.
Do you have any idea really what caused it, Walter?
Yes, I had moved down because I'd seen Richard and Buddy coming up on me, and I'd moved down and let them have room. When I came out of the corner, there was a car. Must have been running 30, 40 miles an hour there. Well, I was hoping that Buddy was back far enough that when I moved over to miss that car that I didn't take him. When I knew when I moved over, I got him. But I didn't have any choice. Either ram that car right in the square and it back in, which I felt like I had a better chance going to the right.
That pretty lady holding that hand awful tight looks terribly relieved. It's kind of nice to have that hand, isn't it?
It sure is.
Good luck to you, Walter. Thank you.
It's good to see that Walter is okay. We can't say that for his car. That was once a 71 Ford racing stock car. The damage, however, primarily confined to the body, the sheet metal. $10,000 worth. His 7 kids will help him fix it.
You all right, bud?
Yeah, well, as well as possible with the $40,000 race car torn up. It's just one of those things. One of the slower cars was down in the bottom.